Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Public Affairs on Peach. This morning, we are talking about women balancing life at home, as a mom, and also on the job. Ruchika Toshan is the editor of Little Pink Book, and she manages a team of writers. And Ruchika joins us this morning. Ruchika, good to have you here.
Thank you very much, Brandon.
Okay, you're not a mom yet.
No.
You're not a mom yet.
No.
But you plan to be a mom.
Eventually, yes.
Eventually, yes. All right, very good. So let me get this perspective from you. Did you ever think that if you wanted to be successful, right, a successful businesswoman, you had to put off having a family and having kids?
Not at all. And, you know, actually, I come in from the Asian perspective. I was born and brought up in Singapore, and my parents are Indian. And what I found is there's such a huge opportunity for women now. And I feel like the whole way of looking at how women can contribute to the workplace is very different from previous generations. I mean, for example, there was recently a survey done where 77% of offices actually allow for flex time. So suddenly it's as if there's a lot more opportunity for women to define what they want, what being a mom at the workplace means, and how many hours you put in. And with technology, with so many, you know, the whole idea of what it's like to be a woman at the workplace has really changed. So no, personally, I never thought that being at the workplace would mean not having children, or vice versa, that I'd have to give up one for the other.
All right, well, you're in the workforce, right? You're managing these writers. You're out there. You're talking to your girlfriends. You're talking to other women. What's their take on it? Do they still kind of feel that men have it a lot easier to get to the top than I do, and there's still some prejudice if I want to go out there and have a kid, maybe I won't get that promotion?
Actually, I'm finding, especially through our audience and readers, that women feel a lot more empowered now, which is why, you know, when we talk about the Anne-Marie Slaughter article, one of my big worries with that is she was saying that our society tells us that, you know, women cannot have it all, and that's why women can't have it all. And what she was doing is she was taking the power away from women, and the fact that we have the ability to make those decisions now that we never had before. Historically, we've got the largest number of women CEOs, which obviously is not a huge number, it's still 4%. But the fact is, historically, it's more than ever before. So I feel that, you know, seeing amazing role models all around us, I interviewed Condoleezza Rice, and I've spoken to some other very, very powerful, wonderful women. And a lot of them felt that the point is, by exposing ourselves, by making us seem vulnerable, we really hold ourselves back. And part of it is what we want to define, what we see as being having it all. I feel that's very important for women.
You know, and I think a point could be made is that there may be a mom out there with 3 kids, and she may say to you, know what, I have it all. And I have it all without being in the career workforce. My job may be to raise my 3 kids, make sure they get the proper schooling, make sure they, you know, they're getting to athletic events at the same time. Or the roles could be reversed here. It could be the father staying at home. Mm-hmm. Do you see with the trend, maybe as we're coming to times, if you will, that maybe more women and men are having a discussion at home saying, you know what? Your job is more successful. You're the breadwinner of the family. I, as the father, let me stay home and let me take care of the kids.
It's an absolute generational thing. The woman you just referred to in the first part of what you said is my mom. You know, she chose to have 3 kids and stay at home. And at that time, there was not that conversation. You know, my dad was the breadwinner, and my mother would stay at home, and her having it all was to have 3 kids who she loved very much, and, you know, she was in charge of. That was her all. Now that I'm newly married, suddenly the conversation is all about, well, you know, when we have kids, how's it going to be? Who's going to go to work and who's not going to work?
What does Ruchika tell her husband in those conversations when you decide that? Who keeps their job at the beginning, or do you guys try and both manage it and keep both jobs and figure it out?
We're a couple of years away, so we haven't really had that conversation in depth yet, and obviously circumstances change. And I think part of having it all, which I think is very important, is you keep redefining it. There are a lot of circumstances in life that you don't even plan for. Say you have sick parents, say you have a sick child, say the economy is in a different state 3 years from now than it is, you know, from what it is right now. And I think that is the other, you know, that was my other problem with the article that Anne-Marie Slaughter wrote. And the fact that, you know, she just, in her mind, it was like, well, there is only one all. Society tells us you must have children, and you must have a great job, and that's your all.
That's what makes it your all. You know, this is again, this is my opinion, and I think where we're getting to right here is what all is. All right, a lot of people will say having it all isn't necessarily being a CEO of a company, and you could probably interview a lot of CEOs of companies, and they're miserable. They have a miserable family. They're miserable at their job. They don't like it just because of their title CEO. Doesn't mean having it all, and that you've got to find balance somewhere in your life so that work outside of work, that your life outside of work is just as important.
Our audience is predominantly women, that's true, but we hear from a lot of men too, and a lot of men too say that it's very unfair that you think that this is all about mothers, that you think this is all about women. What about male CEOs who perhaps are not as close to their family? They too had to make that choice. Right. They also have the same concerns, and right now the fact that this discourse is actually even happening, you know, in a way that it never happened before, it shows that both parties, men and women, feel this need. Should I be at home? Should I be out, making money? How much can I compromise? You know, so it really is about the idea of deciding, what do you want? What does all mean to you? And it is going to change, for sure.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times men at those CEO powers, they've always gone just with what society has always led them to believe, that, well, I'm supposed to go after the CEO job. I'm supposed to spend 18 hours a day at the office to provide for the family. And many of them probably would say was like, that's all I ever knew, because that's all society ever taught me. And you're right. I think it is definitely a generational shift.
Absolutely.
And my sisters and my mom would definitely agree with you. All right, coming up next, the flip side here. What about those dads out there who decide to give up their career so that their wives can stay in the workplace? We're going to be sitting down with a father who did just that, coming up right after this.